Hi everybody. So this is just a short video to talk to you about the final project and what we will be doing with that project. So for this semester, I'm letting people do an option for the final project. In the past, I've done both of these actually, one or the other depending on when we did the final project. But this time we're going to let you do whichever one you would like. So whichever one best suits your needs, in other words. So each of these options actually is helping you to dive very deeply into one specific context and look at one particular tool use. So all of the tech talks have been helping you to practice this in your groups, and with this project you're going to be asked to go more deeply and to really look at how one is actually used, or if with option 2, how you could use a range of particular tools actually one by one in your own classroom context. So the goal is to really think very deeply about how a particular media or technology tool is used for a particular purpose or problem, which is what we have been practicing so far, but to dive more deeply and to make it more specific to you and to what you are interested in exploring. So that's the idea. So it really is very focused and detailed, and then from that you really dive in and have a lot of specific details about the context, a lot of details about if you're doing the case study, about how that tool is being used for a particular reason, and what that means. So applying it to the research. So that's project option 1. You're really doing a case study or a look at how a particular piece of media or tool is used within a particular context and what that all means in the larger scheme of what we are understanding about how technology is used for productive ways. Or option 2, you are creating a website that has very detailed plans for using particular kinds of media and what that means for your understanding of how you use media in your own classroom. So that's option 2, where you're creating essentially very well developed and thoroughly developed tech talks that have standards, that have a particular context, that have your media, where you create actual examples using that media. You create your own examples and put it in there. And so it's really a very complete set of ideas and rationales included with that, written up for how this could be integrated into your classroom. So overall, that's what you're doing. They're both very, very detailed. So for option 1, you're going to either synthesize findings around a particular area and do a well-supported argument about that. That's essentially a really extensive research paper about one particular issue using technologies. So for instance, can games, like, what I'm talking about with skill and drill games, can they be used for actual learning? That would be an issue, right? Can we actually put them to use in a classroom for students to learn things? You would explore that issue. So that's really looking at something a little bit broader. Most students don't choose to do that option, but it's up there for you. If you really you're really jazzed about flipped classrooms and you really want to think through how a flipped classroom could work, you could explore that through the literature, and that's essentially what this is. Or you could, for instance, do the case study where you know someone who's trying out flipped classrooms and you actually follow that a lesson plan or a unit of that teacher and do an interview and really think through how that person is using flipped classroom in her own teaching and for her own students. So it really is about following one person and one particular thing. So you want to narrow that down, but then you have to narrow it down because you have to do so much detail about what that looks like. You have to describe the context. You have to describe how that's integrated. You have to describe the reasons, like you put it to something larger. This is what it all means then, how this particular teacher is doing that in this context, and what that means for what we know about how technology and media can be integrated. This is usually a 10 to 12 page research paper, generally. It's on Google Docs, and it has all of this research embedded into the argument that you're making about how a particular tool is used, or about that issue if you're doing a research project, part of it. Be sure to share your document so that anyone with link can comment or edit. That's usually what we're doing in this class. Do not share it with me, okay? Because you need to just share the link. The link will actually, if it's shared properly, that will work. That'll be just fine. You're also going to create a Flipgrid presentation that just summarizes what you found in your final project. And I'll set that up for everybody who's choosing this option. I'll set up a Flipgrid for you all for that. So with this particular option, you're going to essentially be writing up your analysis of someone or some issue, very, very detailed, and make an argument about that. And you're going to support that argument with examples from whatever context you're in, and from scholarly research. And then you're also going to do a Flipgrid with that. With option 2, you're going to create an e-portfolio. And so with this e-portfolio, you are going to, and I have a template for you that you can follow for this. With this, you're going to have an about page. You're going to have 3 posts about integrating media. I've already set up in the template particular kinds of media and then a free choice. You can do that media, or you can choose your own media, but you need to clear that with me beforehand. And all of your lesson plans will need to have a specific class. It should be the same class for all of them. That makes, I think, your life easier. A description of your lesson idea, a complete quotation of the standards that you're meeting, your assigned media, a rationale, an example that you create of your media, a step-by-step guide for how you're going to integrate that media, and that's super detailed, and then an evaluation of it, as well as a list of references. So this is a more in-depth tech talk that's applied to your own specific context only. So that's the way to think about it. It's not that you rewrite your tech talk. It's that you, using the knowledge that you gain from your tech talks, now you apply it to your own particular context and your own standards and your own content. And you also, with this, include a teaching with philosophy post, where you create a video and a written text that uses research as well as your rationales. Your rationales will use scholarly research as well. And you make a case for how you use media or technology in your own classroom setting. You can work in groups with this as well. You can with the first option as well. You just need to be really clear about what you do in groups, and you have to create your own WordPress site if you're doing option 2, and your own teaching philosophy if you're doing option 2 as well. So these are the 2 options that you have, and they really are taking all of the skills and the knowledge that we've gained in the semester and applying it. So this is where we're actually applying it in different ways. And so you have some options depending on if you have a classroom, or if you want to focus on someone else's teaching, or if you want to focus on your own teaching if you have a classroom, or if you want to focus on your own professional context in either of these. That's all fine. You just have to choose what you're going to focus on. So really the trick of this is really narrowing it down at first, because you have to expand out and go in such detail in the area that you're researching, in the research itself, and everything has to be supported with not only examples from whatever it is that you're exploring, but also from scholarly research. And so it really is a culmination of what we've been doing for this semester.